Hello everybody, it's John with you, and it's time to get started on this kit. Okay, we've done the unboxing, and if you've watched the unboxing you'll see that it's quite an extensive kit. There's quite a lot of parts of it. Parts look absolutely lovely. There's nice mouldings on them, no flash, and the plastic looks nice. Okay, so that's the unboxing side of it, all done. All done. So now we're on to the build. Okay, so what I'm going to do with the build is, as usual, if anybody's watched my channel before, they know how I do the builds. I start off, I show the instructions for the piece that I'm going to do. Usually kind of do it a couple of sections at a time, or a page at a time. We do it that way. We look at the instructions, see what we're about to do, and then at the end of it, then we look at it. Okay, just point out anything that was awkward, things that I found awkward that, you said you might find awkward yourself, anything to look, really basically to look out for, and then we'll carry on then from there. So without further ado, let's go down to the bench. Let's have a look at our instructions and look at the first 3 steps, and we'll get them done, and then we'll have a look at them then for a finish. Okay, so down to the bench, we'll have a look. Right, so here we are, we're at the instructions, and we're starting off, right, and we do the first 3 on this page, then we'll come back and we'll have a look at that and see if there's anything awkward or anything to look out for, like I said earlier on. So, in step 1, we've got our mesh pieces. Okay, gives you the size of the mesh pieces to cut them out to. Cut them out and pop them in and put in the 2 covers over that. There's a little piece here to go in for the driver's cupola, the driver's hatch copula, whatever you want to bloody well call it. It's, by the looks of it, they're vision block pieces, and we've got 2 little side panels. They got to go in part 1. In part 2, then we've a load of these little sub assemblies here, right? 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, 2E, 2F, 2G, 2H, K, and M. And then we're fitting all those. So we just make them up, leave them dry while they're, as we're getting them made, and then start fitting them all. So we get all these then done on step 2. They get all fitted onto that. Step 3, then we have a couple of more little sub-assemblies here. We make up the sub-assemblies and we'll attach them onto that. Then we'll have a look at all that then, when all that's made up. Shouldn't be any problems. I used to have a problem here with the mesh. I used to find it bloody well awkward and things like that. I was just trying to think about that. I've kind of learned, little things I've learned about the mesh is, first of all, before you even start, make sure your mesh is all squared up. Right? And I'll show you what I mean by all squared up. Right. First of all, we'll get out our mesh. Right. These are our 2 mesh pieces. Right. It gives us 2 different sizes. Okay. So it tells us use net number 2. Now, net number 2 is the bigger of the 2. You see, the bigger mesh. Right. So it's the bigger of the mesh pieces. So that's this one, the deeper mesh. Now, make sure that our bottom here is square and even. And as you can see from that, it is not. Okay. Right, if you follow that line across, you'll see that it's cut at an angle, and they always are. They always are. So what you do is just get a scissors. Right. I need my extra specs because I am blind. Right, and I go in just one. Now when we look at it, that is straight. Not perfectly straight, but straight enough to do what we want to do to it. Okay, could tidy it up just a tiny other little bit more. right? So now we have it square. Now we measure it off to that, and then we cut it. Always cut it slightly over the size, right? Because you can trim it down to size. There's plenty of mesh in that to do that, okay? Yeah, a bit of PE might be just as easy, and you know, pop it in. But you put PE into a kit, you're upping the price of the kit straight away. You really are. And ZVEZDA are nice and cheap. Well, I wouldn't say cheap, but they're good and reasonable. Very, very reasonably priced. So the old mesh works, and it works. It does a fabulous job. It looks great. It really does when it's finished. So I'm going to go on and get all these done, and then we'll come back. We'll have a look at it, and like I said, we'll just discuss any of these things that, you know, if it was awkward putting them together or whatever. Then we'll come back and have a look at it. Okay, so I get that done. We'll come back. We'll have a look. Okay, so now we're after getting the first three done. Right, we've loads of little boxes and God knows what else done on the upper hull. There's that mesh I was talking about earlier on, and you can see how good that turned out. I'm not sort of patting myself in the back, I'm just patting ZVEZDA on the back for a great little idea using the nylon mesh. A lot cheaper than the photo etch, like I said. I mean, if that had photo etch in it, obviously it would bump up the price of it. So by using the plastic or the nylon mesh, keeps the price down, which is good, you know, for modelers. You know, for the person that buys, say, 2 or 3 kits a year, it's not going to make much difference. They go for the expensive kits and things like that. But when you're kind of into the hobby a bit, and you're sort of building, and once you finish a build, you're back into another build, then the cost of them does come into it, okay? Especially if you're on a budget like I am. That's the reason I go for the cheaper ones. Is literally I just can't afford the more expensive ones. You know, I do the odd time buy an expensive one. I'm kind of saving up for one at the moment. There's one I spotted in Model Hobbies. Been trying to get my hands on it for some time, and they have it back in. So I'll be pulling the trigger on that very, very soon. The only thing about that is then it means, you know, it's an expensive kit, so it would be the price of 2, maybe even 3 normal kits. So let's just hope it takes me a long time to build. So anyway, getting back onto this one, no problems whatsoever. The nylon mesh, like I said, once you make sure the nylon mesh is square, then it's easier to cut it to size, and it keeps it nice and straight as well. So apart from that, I had no problems whatsoever, and even that wasn't a problem. It was just being careful in cutting them out. Some of these boxes were a bit fiddly in putting them together. So anyway, to describe it as a bit fiddly, but they went together easy enough. So that's the upper hull so far, right? And sections 1, 2 and 3 all done, marked off. So now we're on to 4, 5 and 6, and in 4, 5 and 6 we're on to the wheels, suspension pieces, I think. Yeah, some suspension pieces and wheels and things like that. Not so much of the sub-assemblies, right? A lot smaller than the others, but we do have loads of wheels to put on. Okay. We also have the return rollers along the top there. Half the drive sprocket, the other half will go on after the track, I think, it goes on with the track. So loads of other little bits and pieces. This sort of plate here, armour, special sort of a skid plate or whatever they call it, there on the front as well, that's got to go on, and a few other little bits and bobs to go in there. Now, I know it's not the preferred way to go, but it's the way I go with, especially with link and length tracks. I just find them so hard to do that basically what I do is I glue the wheels on. Simple as that. I just glue everything together. I glue the wheels together, glue them all on, and then go back afterwards and then glue the track in place. Just want to check a little bit further down now with these. Yeah, that's got you putting the sort of the tracks together and on, gluing them all in place, and then putting the outer wheels on and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and literally glue the wheels on in the positions that they're telling me to. What I do is when the wheels are all on and when the tracks are all on, before I go putting on the side skirts, I'll paint it all up. At that stage, that's the undercut, you know, the lower hull section. I get that painted. Then what I can do is once the two pieces go together and you stick on your side skirts, I can mask off what I've already painted and go ahead with that. I mean, it's not Indie-link tracks, so you're not going to have any sag or anything like that. So it doesn't matter the fact that they're glued in place. And as I've done in the past, they are easy enough to paint in situ. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get them done, and we'll come back then after I've gotten as far as step 6. We'll look at all that and discuss anything that has arisen. Okay, so I get them done and be straight back to you. Alright, just a little change there now. I've done step 4 and step 5. I'm on now to step 6. Now since in step 6 they're telling you to put on just the one wheels. Right, at a later stage then you're putting on the track. I'll just show you here. Okay, they're getting you to fit the track and then fit the outer wheels onto that. But I'm not going to do it that way. God no. Why would I? I'm just going to change things up a bit. This is where I deviate from the plans a bit and put the wheels together. It's much easier, I find, right? It's sort of my own personal preference. I've done it that way and I didn't like the way it goes, you know, kind of getting the wheels together right and all that. So I've going down the line that I go, right? So what I'm doing is, at the moment now I'm cleaning off the wheels. Here's one that hasn't been cleaned off. Right, so what you do is just take them off the sprue, glue them together and then clean them off, right? Rather than trying to clean them off as separate. It's just much faster. Right, so that's the way before, that's the before and after. And you can see there's a small little seam line down the centre of it, and you've got the sprue gate marks as well on them. Right, so quick rub of a sander, that clears that. So that's the only difference I'm going with the you know, so far anyway, that I'm changing from the instructions. It's just the wheels I've putting on the tracks. I find it easier, especially when it comes to the link and length tracks, and because of the way I'm doing them, as in I'm building it all and then painting it after it's sort of in situ on the vehicle itself. I find it easier to, you know, have the tracks fully together. You know, the guide horns fit in easier and you can get them all glued up nicer. You just get a stronger bond on everything. So that's why I'm doing it that way. So get back to you now when I've got step 6 completed, and then we can have a look at step 4, 5 and 6 all together. Okay, so now we're after getting all that done. Right, and as I said, I do the wheels slightly different than the way it tells you in the instructions. It has you putting on one side, then fitting the track, and then, you know, putting on the outer wheels. So we've got as far as step 6, right? I add in the outer wheels as well as the inner wheels. We've got all the suspension done. We've got all the other wheels done and everything else. No problems, no fit issues. Everything just went perfect, swimmingly. I think it was a Tamiya kit, the way how good it's going. No problems, none whatsoever. Right, so now we're down to the tracks. Yes, the tracks. Right, step 7 anyway has us putting the top to the bottom. Okay, that's easy enough. Just a small panel here at the back, and then put the top onto the bottom. But I'm not going to do that at this stage. I'm going to do the tracks first, and then put the top onto the bottom. Reason being, it's just easier to get in around all the tracks without trying to sort of fit them in under the lip of the under the side skirts lip, whatever you call it. Right, so the tracks anyway, they're link and length, separate guide horns onto the tracks, just glue them all together, do all your little sub-assemblies, then have all your track ready, and then just attach them on. They seem to be easy enough, it doesn't look that complicated. You got the idler wheels and the drive sprockets. So I'm going to put the drive sprockets and the idler wheels on first, get them all in place. There's little caps here to go on to the outer wheels as well, so I'll get all of them done first and then I'll go on with the tracks. So when the tracks are on, I'm going to have a look at it, see what it's all like. Again, if I had any problems or anything like that, we'll discuss that at that stage. And again, I'll be leaving off the side skirts, and like I said, because I wasn't attached to the thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint the whole bottom section, and by not having this piece attached to it, just means that I can get in and paint much easier. Even with the tracks on it and all that, I can still get in there much easier. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get all those little bits done, and then I'll get back to you. And like I said, as our usual, we'll have a little recap of what I'm after doing, and any little problems, if there were any problems, how I got around them. So I'll get that done and get back to you straight away. Okay, now it's time for one of John's little tips. As you see now, we're on to the tracks. Just ignore the fact that they're all marked off, because I got something to show you there. It gives you all the little sub-assemblies for adding the tracks. Now if you do them one by one, it'll take you forever, and you're doing a bit and you're waiting for the next bit, and you need them all to get the fitting right. So the easiest thing to do, believe it or not, is so freaking simple. I'm amazed that I hadn't copped it before, because I've done these type things before, and I'm just sort of bits everywhere, and you're pulling up sprues, the whole lot. Easy thing to do is make them all. Make all your little sub-assemblies, your little pieces to go together, and mark them. Okay, mark them with a little bit of masking tape. Let's grab one. Simple as that. Okay, little bit of masking tape, number on it. Have them all laid out there. So now when I start putting the tracks onto this, look at the instructions. It said piece A here, 9 here, piece 10 there, A, B, C and D there on the curves. Do you know what I mean? So just makes it that little bit easier to do. It's not going to save you tons of time, but it is going to save you a little bit of confusion. Get them all made up, get them marked off. You know, push that up to the side, and then you can work away there and just take from your bits and pieces. So just a little tip. I'll get back to you. I'll just get these fitted. Hope that helps. And there we go. Tracks are done. Okay. All on nicely. Okay, so hit the glue apart, away, make sure that's closed, because the amount of times we knock them over is unnatural. Okay, so then remove all my little labels. Right, now what do we have to do? Now I know I'm supposed to join this to this, which I'm not going to do for a little while. I'm going to leave it a little bit later on. I want to get the underside painted first, so I get that painted. But next step anyway for us is we're working on the upper hull again. With the last couple of pieces ready to go onto the upper hull as far as I can make out. There's something else, turret. Yeah, 90% of the other stuff is onto the turret. So we just have the last of the upper superstructure to get finished. including the tow ropes, but we'll be doing the tow ropes again at a later stage. It's pointless doing them so early. Right, we can get all the fittings on for them alright though, so we can get these fittings on, our lights and our light protecting brackets. This bracket here is for lifting up the front of the mudguard. We leave them off until we have the two sides together. But we can do the lights, we can do the this wind deflector or whatever it is here in the back of the engine, the exhaust deflector. Air intakes, should I say, I beg your pardon, because the exhaust is at the side of these Russian tanks, isn't it? Shoots out the side of them. So they're air intakes, I'd say, for the engine. So we can get them done anyway. It's a bit more meshing involved in that. We get them fitted. We can get the hooks on alright. We can get the hooks and all these things on here in the front as well. Right, so all these hooks and things, we get all them done. And then we're ready then. I can get that painted in the meantime and get that put onto there. So we should be nearly finished now with that. If you look at that there now. And this is just sort of dry fitted on. Now, actually, I think I'll just leave all those little bits and pieces till later, and I will get this lower section painted up. When I have that lower section painted up, I'll get back onto you, and then we can continue on then as the instructions say. Get this onto it, and then fit all the other parts, because it's easier to try and get that on. Because I thought about clamping that down and making sure that all fits. I'm going to end up breaking off all these little sensitive bits and pieces on it. So yeah, I'll paint the bottom section and then do the top works. See, you're involved in the decision process and how I go ahead, deciding as I go. So I'm going to get that all painted up. When the bottom section is painted, then I'll get back onto you. What we'll do then is we'll get that masked off, or to get it joined up, then get it masked off, and we can add on the side skirts and all the other bits and pieces. So next step now is to get that painted. So that's going to take a little while. I'll get back onto you when all that is done. Now here we are back at the bench again, and as you can see, I have the bottom section all painted up. Okay. And the other side is exactly the same, no difference. So, the underside done as well. So, next now is to put the top onto the bottom, get that glued in, and then we can finish off with the other little fiddly bits that go on the top. If you go by the instructions and you sort of build up the put these together at an early stage and build up the superstructure. When it comes to sort of, when you want to get all this painted and masked off and God knows whatever else you want to do to it, you're going to be doing a lot of handling on the top. So it's going to get, little bits are going to get broken off and damaged. So I decided to do it this way. Now, like I said, next thing now is to add the bottom to the top, get them together. And then back to the instructions again then, and we just have to finish off the rest of the top sections, and then we're off into the turret itself. So I'll get them done there as far as 16. I'll get that far, then I'll come back to you. The whole lot will be together. I should have it masked off as well because I've got side skirts to go on. Right, so a nice bit to get done. When I get that done, I'll come back then. We'll have a look at the lower hull and all that fittings that go onto it. That'll be the end then of this video. In the next video then we'll go look and we'll start with the turret. So I'll come back to you in a sec with up as far as step 16. Hopefully all done nicely. Right, okay, so I've managed to piece together the last few bits of this. Okay, I'm not putting on the unditching log. I'll show you now in a minute why. Just I can't get it to fit. Simple as that. I did nothing wrong. Everything here I did perfect, but it just won't fit. And then when you put in these pieces here, it kind of confirms it. That you don't have as much of a gap here as what you can see. It just doesn't want to do it really. And I'm not fitting the toe ropes, not as yet. I'll be doing them a bit later on, but everything else is done. So I'll show you now what I'm talking about regarding this, the unditching log. Okay, as you see, it's got 2 points here and 2 points there that it attaches onto the rear. Now, you have to put on these 2 pieces here, right? And there's locator marks for them, so they're not in the wrong place. Okay. Now, once they're on, the unditching log is supposed to go between them and this. Which is basically right where they are. Literally right where they are. If I don't put them on, alright, if either of those don't go on, I do have, it will fit on then. It will fit in perfectly then, right? Well, I wouldn't say perfectly, but a little bit high. But these 2 pieces here are throwing me. Now, unless, the only thing I can think of is that these 2 pieces here were marked wrong on the instructions, right? As in, this piece here should be into this little kind of a slot that's there, and this piece here sort of up further up here, but there's no marking for it, there's no sort of place for it to go. But I did follow the instructions, as you can see. On the instructions it tells you to fit that there. Right, now is there, I think it is. Oops. Right, that's that one. Okay, I can easily take it off again. Right, this piece here then. Oh, they're showing the bottom of it onto that. It might fit on then. It might fit on then. I'm going to give that a try. I'll come back to you. If it fits in, then oops me. If not, then I was right in the first place. But judging by that already, it's a bit of a oops me in it. So I'll go ahead. I'll remedy that, and I'll come back to you. And as you can see from the fact that the unditching log is on, it was an oops me moment. I do apologise for that. I just got these sort of locators completely wrong. Just when I look at it, I mean, it's not very, very well defined, I must admit. It is not very defined at all. But I got it on anyway, and I'm happy with it. It's on. Okay. Right. Down around the front, we've got our lights, towing hooks, towing eyes, or whatever they are, and a couple of other bits and pieces. Very, very fiddly. Extremely fiddly. But they went. You know, I got them on. They're all, I'm happy with their straightness and everything. Okay. But those light guards are a bloody nightmare. They really, really are. They're very, very fiddly. Very, very fiddly indeed. But I mean, I've no advice on how to, in building them or putting them together. The only thing I can say is just be very, very careful with them. Just be very careful with them. Right. So anyway, that's that. Put aside. That's the bottom. The main hull finished. There are 1 or 2 other little pieces to go on right at the end, but basically the hull is done. So that's it for this video. The next video then we'll be moving on. We'll be getting the turret done. So far it's been a good build. A couple of fiddly bits, a couple of bits that I kind of missed out on. There was 1 or 2 other little things, you know, there was a part misnumbered here on this piece here, right? It says E65, it's actually E67 is the piece, right? A bit misnumbered there. Plus, you know, they could have done a better picture than that. You mean, like, as you can see here, I mean, they've done it with this one. You know, they could have given you a much closer up, looking straight at it, rather than saying that fits in under there somewhere. You know, I got it that is under that lip, and it is actually over that lip. You know, still not. I got it on anyway, and I'm happy with it. So that's it, like I said, for this video. Don't forget to stay tuned for part 2, where we'll be getting the turret all sorted and boxed off. Any questions you want to ask me so far on the build, just stick them in the comments box below. Like I said, it has been a good build so far, bar one or two little minor things, and believe me, they are very, very minor. I kind of spotted it myself when I was explaining it on this. How come I didn't spot it beforehand? I don't know. It just didn't click with me. Whereas when I looked at it there, it just oops. We had an oops moment. So anyway, let's hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to join me, as I said, on part 2. Join me on Mondays for the bum with Abby, and we'll see how we get on. So in the meantime, enjoy your modelling, be nice to one another, and go out and buy yourself a kit, build it and enjoy it. John signing off and saying, I'll catch you on the next one, lads. Stay safe.